The dust hadn't even settled when the last of the fire died out. Smoke curled above what used to be the Wilcox Ranch, nothing left but blackened wood, twisted iron, and the stench of burned dreams. The wind carried the silence of death, and somewhere among the ruin, a woman stood, her dress torn, her eyes hollow but unbroken. Her name was Lena Wilcox, and this was the night she lost everything. Her father, shot through the chest before her eyes. Her mother, dragged away screaming. The men who did it rode under no flag, no badge, just the black scarf of the Raven Riders, a gang that owned half of Dust Creek County through fear and fire. And they left Lena with nothing but ashes and the sound of their laughter fading into the canyon. She had been on her knees when it happened, praying, maybe, or just too stunned to move, when the flames caught the barn and the horses screamed. Her father's hand, still warm, slipped from hers. The ground was cold. The night was colder. But inside her chest, something new began to burn. It wasn't grief. Not anymore. It was fury. For 2 days, Lena walked barefoot through the high plains, clutching a single revolver she'd pulled from the ashes. Her body was cut and bruised, her lips cracked from thirst, but she didn't stop. She didn't cry. Each step carried her farther from who she'd been and closer to something harder, something the world wouldn't break again. By the third sunset, she reached the edge of Cedar Hollow, a ghost town kept alive only by whiskey and regret. The saloon door creaked when she pushed it open, and every man inside turned to stare. A woman walking in alone, covered in soot, eyes burning like desert fire, it wasn't something they saw every day. The piano stopped mid-note. "Ma'am," said the bartender, wiping his hands nervously. "You lost." Lena's voice was quiet, but it carried like thunder. "I'm looking for the Raven Riders." A few men exchanged glances. The air grew thick. Someone snorted from a corner table, a tall man in a duster coat, his hat low, boots muddy from the trail. He looked up, slow and lazy, a hint of danger glinting in his eyes. "Careful what you go looking for, miss," he said, voice like gravel. "You might just find it." Lena turned to him. "That's the plan." The men studied her, really studied her, the way a gunslinger sizes up another before dawn. "You got a death wish, or just a fool's kind of courage?" "I've got nothing left to lose," she said simply. That made him pause. He leaned back, hat tipping lower. "Name's Calboon," he said after a moment. "Used to ride with men like the Ravens. Used to. Now I hunt 'em." The room seemed to lean in. Someone chuckled nervously. "You think you can kill them?" Lena asked. "I don't think," Cal said, pushing back his chair. "I know." She looked at him like a woman staring at her last chance. "Then take me with you." Cal frowned. You can't even hold that gun steady." Her jaw tightened. "I'll learn." He started to walk past her, but she grabbed his arm, small hand, strong grip. "They took everything from me," she whispered. "My home, my family, my name. If I'm gonna die, I want it to mean something." Something in her voice stopped him. Maybe it was the fire in her eyes. Maybe it was that he'd seen that same look in his own mirror once, years ago, back when he still had something to fight for. He sighed, then turned his gaze toward the window, where the sun bled red into the desert. "You don't even know what you're a skin for." "I know enough." Calboon holstered his revolver, took one long look at the woman who refused to flinch, and said quietly, "Pack your things, Miss Wilcox. You're comin' home with me." The room went still. Lena blinked. "Home? Not much of one," he said. "But it's safe. You'll need rest, and a reason to live before you go lookin' to die." She opened her mouth to protest, but his voice cut through like a blade. "You ride with me, you ride by my rules. No revenge till you can shoot straighter than a shadow. Understood?" Lena stared at him for a long moment, then nodded. Understood. That night, they rode out under a bruised sky, two broken souls chasing ghosts across the wide Wyoming plains. The air was cool, the stars sharp, and for the first time since the fire, Lena didn't feel alone. Cal didn't talk much, but when he did, his words came slow, careful, like a man measuring the weight of everything he said. "You ever think about what comes after?" he asked once, when the fire cracked low between them. "After what?" "After the killing." Lena looked into the flames. "There's nothing after." He nodded slowly. "That's what I thought once too." They rode in silence after that, two figures against the endless dark. But somewhere deep down, under the ache and the loss, something fragile began to stir inside her again, not hope, exactly, but the ghost of it. And Calhoun saw it. He didn't say a word, but he saw it, and that was enough. Because he knew the road they were on wasn't just about vengeance. It was about saving what was left of her soul before the fire inside her burned her down completely. The wind howled through the canyons that night, whispering the same old promise the West always made, that everything worth having came with a cost. And for Lena Wilcox, the cost was just beginning. The wind that morning carried the scent of rain and gunpowder, the kind of day where legends were born and the dead finally got their peace. 2 weeks had passed since Lena Wilcox rode away from Cedar Hollow with Calhoun, and every mile between then and now had carved her into something new. The soft-spoken ranch girl was gone. What remained was a woman who could load a rifle in the dark, aim steady through tears, and keep her hand from trembling even when ghosts of the past whispered her name. Cal had trained her hard, not just in shooting or tracking, but in patience. Revenge, he'd told her, ain't about rage. It's about precision. And she had listened, even when her heart screamed for blood. They'd tracked the Raven Riders across the Salt River Basin, through storms and dust, until the day came when Cal said quietly, "They're close." That night, under a crimson moon, Lena saw their campfires flickering in the distance, 7 men, laughing, drinking, telling stories around a fire built from the broken boards of some stolen wagon. Her blood boiled, but Cal's hand on her shoulder held her still. "Not yet," he said softly. "You pull that trigger angry, you'll miss. You pull it calm, you'll live." They waited till dawn. The world turned gold and gray as the first shot rang out, Cal's bullet taking down the sentry before he even had time to shout. Lena followed, moving like a shadow through the sagebrush. 2 riders were down before they even reached their guns. The third, the one with a scar across his throat, saw her face and froze. "The Wilcox girl," he hissed. She didn't answer. Her revolver did. One clean shot, right through the chest. The rest scattered, cursing and firing wildly into the rocks. The fight was short, brutal, and loud, a storm of vengeance echoing through the valley. When the smoke cleared, only one man was left standing among the dead, a tall figure with a black scarf and cold eyes. "Rider King," Cal muttered, stepping forward. "Didn't think I'd see your sorry hide again." Lena's breath caught. "You know him?" Cal's jaw tightened. I rode under him once. Before I figured out what kind of devil he was. The Raven leader laughed, low and cruel. Boone, you always did have a hero complex. Pickin' up strays now, are ya? What's this girl to you? Cal said nothing, but Lena stepped forward, gun raised. I'm the one whose family you burned alive. The Rider King smirked. Then you should thank me. I made you strong. Her hand shook, just once, enough for Cal to see. Don't, he warned gently. Not yet. The outlaw sneered. She doesn't have the guts. That was the last mistake he ever made. The shot cracked like thunder. Lena's bullet hit him square in the heart. He staggered, eyes wide in shock, then fell face first into the dirt. For a long moment, all she could do was stare. The men who had haunted her nights lay broken and still. The revenge she'd carried like a cross for weeks, for years, was finally done. But instead of relief, she felt hollow. Cal walked over, his hat low, voice quiet. It don't feel like you thought it would, does it? She swallowed hard, tears welling up. No, it doesn't. That's 'cause vengeance takes from you twice. Once when they hurt you, and again when you give your soul to the hate. Lena looked at him, trembling. Then what now? Cal knelt beside her, eyes soft. Now you live. For them. For yourself. That's how you win. They buried the dead where they fell. The sky opened up and rain poured over the valley, washing the blood and dust away. It was as if the West itself wanted to start over. Cal stood beside her, coat drenched, watching the water soak into the soil. You got a choice now, Lena, he said quietly. Go back east, start fresh. Or ride with me. There's still towns need saving, folks need help. She wiped the rain from her face.